excited for this one. Here we go. Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Brokers and Booze, episode 17, I believe. My name's Chris Ward, broker in charge of Eagle Realty. I have on I'm going to go left.
Nick Sowers with Beach Connection Realty.
And Bill Yates with Sands Realty.
Ooh, excited for this one. So we have a bourbon whiskey for this episode. It is called Jefferson's Ocean.
Yes, Jefferson's Ocean, aged at sea.
And that's the reason it's called a bourbon whiskey, because technically bourbons are only distilled in Kentucky. However, this one distilled at sea, and we brought up a couple fun facts where it hits 5 continents, crosses the equator 4 times.
4 times.
And hits 32 ports.
Yeah,
32 ports.
That's right. So we crosses equator 4 times, 5 continents, 30 ports during its distilled life.
So this passport is well more used than mine.
I was going to say, well traveled.
So it's almost been around the world as much as Bill's girlfriends.
Oh!
Beautiful girls all over the world, as a Bob song once said. All right.
I don't even know how to respond to that right now. Oh my gosh. I don't even know where to take that.
All right, so we're going to cheers. That's where we're taking it. We're taking it right
down the hatch.
to the hatch. Yeah, that's right where we go.
One thing's for sure, we're going to find out if Bill's current girlfriend watches the show or not.
Oh, that's going to come up later. That's awesome.
Check,
you do.
And if you do, please make a comment or not. Love you. So it's very caramelized.
Caramel on the nose, not super.
Yeah.
I got some bite on the back though. Is that just it mixing with the whatever else?
Well, they said so. How it read in the description was briny. From the salt air, kind of briny, a little bit more bitey, a little bit that salt air like bite flavor after the caramelized notes on the front end.
So a sea salt caramel.
Yeah, like a sea. Yeah, I can pull out the nose.
Yeah.
So like one of my favorite is like that dark chocolate and sea salt caramel candies. Mm-hmm. That's kind of what I can pull off of this.
Yeah,
is that
with
front
dark chocolate? This would be phenomenal.
Now, see, this is the second bourbon we've had on the show. Besides Mitchers,
which was episode 1.
Yeah,
Mitchers, but we had the
No, but that wasn't a bourbon.
Oh, we had a
wasn't
Johnny
a bourbon,
Blue.
but we had the blue, which was a whiskey.
Yeah. So I would say this. I mean, you guys might convert me to bourbon because the more I
look at that, ladies.
Goal number 1. If you saw a couple episodes back,
Chris is going to drink a lot of tequila this evening.
Not gonna happen.
Maybe Taco Tuesday.
No. Stick with my Corona. But what I do like about this is it's it has some of the structure. It just is different than because we're bourbon drinkers. Kentucky bourbons and like some of that Midwest.
It's spicy.
This is a little bit different. Yeah. Not as spicy. It's not like a rye or anything like that. It's softer. Has that caramel. Has that salt. A little bit sweeter.
We're gonna have to do an episode.
It's kind of sweet, big
with cigar. We gotta at some point do some bourbons with some cigars.
I got some cigars back there. Humidor.
So
you never know what you're gonna find in that thing.
Here's the other thing, and Bill, tell me if you picked this up, and it's probably just playing into my head because of the ocean and that kind of stuff. But take it on the front and swirl it. Yeah. It has that hint. Have you ever got salt water in your mouth? No, have you got ocean water in your mouth?
Yes.
Yeah.
Little beach ocean water or real ocean water?
Well, I mean, like it just has that
slightly polluted.
I was just saying it has this little bit of salt water.
I taste a little bit of oil and roof residue.
Water drainage, storm drainage.
We didn't even really get into the color. Actually, the notes online talk about that it has a black tint to it, a little bit of a darker coloring. They say that
I think I can see it in the glass more than you can see it in the.
They say that the barrels get that residue, like a dark caramelized or blacker residue on the ships more than they do even in bourbon barns, like in the West.
The salt.
So I don't know. So what's this run? You got an idea?
You know what?
Price?
This is about, I don't know, $65-$70.
Okay. Not bad. And how does this drink compare to like a more expensive or a cheaper?
You know what?
Does it fit its slot, or are you getting a value? What's the deal?
So honestly, if you're doing a taste test comparative, I can drink this for a little while. But if you go to something like a blended whiskey and then go right to this is a little bit more sour, punctual, and comparative, and it just depends where your palate.
So price-wise, does that slot, or does it slot where it is, or do you feel like it drinks with a value to it, or does it drink with, or are you overpaying for what you're getting?
I don't want to say overpaying, but
I think it's right there in the middle.
Are you right in the middle? I'm a little, and because if I'm leaning towards like a Woodford Reserve, or even like, I think it drinks better than like a Whistle Pig, which is more like $110 bottle, and it gives a little bit more on the price,
higher proof.
But I could drink, a $50, $60. If this is like, you said 70, or did you say 60?
65, 70.
Yeah, so it may be just about $10 over. Like, I think it drinks with the 50s to 70s.
Okay,
like, I think you can find a value a little bit, but it's not like overpriced,
okay,
like ridiculously, in my opinion, from what I've drank.
And this is bottle number 982.
Small batch. That's why it's going to be priced a little bit more too.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, we got to pay for it to go around the world. You know what I mean?
Like, so I wonder what they're doing. Are they just throwing this like in the back corner of cargo ships, or is this like or do they have their own specialized ships? Like, these are questions that aren't answered when you go to their website.
Yeah. Look at the ship that's on the front.
Everything online
it's got like a little cargo ship.
80 to 90.
80 to 90, so even they're a little higher. So I'm not sure if I'd put it in that range. I think you can find value bourbons that maybe are a little bit less.
Yeah, now you're getting into the Blantons. I know it's a little bit more difficult to find, but I much prefer Blantons.
So do you feel the additional price has to do with the story?
I think it's got to be the story and the travel of the bourbon.
That's the reason I bought it. Not gonna lie, guys.
Yeah.
But that's a good marketing ploy. I mean, really, that's not a bad plan.
Premium, small batch, world traveled, how they process it.
But how they do it, putting on boats and aging it there, like you're paying for that, but you're also paying to have something that on your shelf that has a story behind it.
Right.
Like, it may not necessarily all come down to the quality of the bourbon.
So Nick, where's it imported from?
This? From the ocean.
It's from the ocean.
What's his ocean?
It's crossed the equator 4 times.
I wonder if they even have to pay taxes.
What's the tariff on that?
That's what you're paying for. 30 different that along.
However, it's bottled for a company in Kentucky.
In Louisville, Kentucky. That's why they can
call it. Okay.
So that's why they call it. I see what you're doing there.
All right, boys. What is the topic for today? We're talking a little bit about... I just forgot what
we're talking about working with buyers. And we're talking about, the simple thing is, this was a huge response on Facebook in this group we're in that said, how do you explain to a buyer that it is not a good idea to look at 15 houses in one day?
15.
They have 540 comments.
Sounds like an indecisive client to me. That I think it's a lack of direction. Mm-hmm. So they're probably searching on their own, Zillow.com or truly or Realtor.com, and they're just putting in a price range and a location. They're not considering 2 or 3 car garage, a swimming pool, hydro ceilings, things like that. Other features that you can kind of narrow down. That or they just might not know the area. So they don't know if they want to live downtown Myrtle Beach, Surfside, Pawleys Island.
So let me ask you this. Is there a situation you would show a buyer 15 homes in one day?
If they had a suitcase of cash that day and I would charge them $200 per showing and they get reimbursed at closing.
What's the...
And have you ever done that?
I was going to say...
I have.
Wait.
200 per showing?
200 per showing, they get reimbursed at closing.
No, but you've done that.
I didn't think they were really buyers. And
they really paid it?
Yeah, I showed them 5 homes. They bought 1 and...
Might be the best salesman I've ever heard.
That was really good.
They were losing earnest money. And if they didn't buy, they lost it. So it was more or less of a, there's plenty of agents that can show you anything, but a lot of us don't have time to waste. So
what about when they're out of town and they're coming to town and they don't know the area enough? And
I think it's up to us as a professionals to figure out what their demands are, what their must-haves are, and direct them to a house rather than let's look at the entire inventory and then I'll pick for myself. Because let's face it, once you see over five homes, you as a real estate broker probably forget what your first house was.
So I think we all 3 would agree in this. We only want to show a buyer 3 to 4, maybe 5 homes in a day max, right?
Yeah.
However, in a situation you have to show more, is there any tricks you can come up with to help the process? If you got to show 7 or 8,
and maybe if it's in one neighborhood or one development or one resort, it could be a little bit different. If you want to compare, hey, let's see 3 1-bedrooms and like 3 2-bedrooms or what have you. But figure out exactly what the goals are. Why are you looking at that many properties?
Yeah.
And I would advise against it. But I guess if you're on a time schedule and they're like, maybe I got to make a decision today. But
I've showed 11 in one day.
If someone gives me
well, that was my question. Like,
15 different options, it's very hard for me to decide which one. But if you give me 3 or 4, boom.
But these
decision.
These buyers were awesome that I showed 11 to in one day. They walked in like literally. We walked into one house. They're like done. Turned around, walked out. They didn't even want to see the rest of the house. They were like,
yeah.
If you have a very decisive buyer, I think it helps.
And I've heard stats that say mentally you'll know within 15 seconds that this is or is not your home. So, that has a lot to do with curb appeal, first impression, walking into it, and then the rest is just analytical. So going down that trail, for me, I kind of gotta want the buyer to trust me a little bit, because I feel like a lot of buyers that say they want to look at that many homes or over a weekend and that kind of thing are not trusting the agent to hear exactly what they need, or they're not articulating their need well enough to say, okay, like, I know this house won't work for you. Like, trust me to say that. Right.
We don't need to go see it. We don't need to waste the time, because we're wasting that time to go see it. And I guess for me personally, over the years, I probably take a little bit more offense as a realtor to the buyer saying like, no, I still want to go see it, but I know it's not going to work for you. Like, you got to trust your agent a little bit and like trust that, this is our job, this is our profession, this is what we do, this is what we're here to help you, so you don't waste time going, look, you could be at the beach. Yeah. Like, why are we going to look at this other home? That's just you're taking away beach time or happy hour time.
Yeah, right. So, and I guess going there, it's very important that you listen to your client, because a lot of agents want to sell a specific, this is my favorite house, you've got to see it, and maybe it doesn't fit for them, but so you're wasting your time. You got to listen to your clients and figure out what they need. And I'm honestly, between location, what's your lifestyle? You want to be a little bit more private, or do you want to be in the middle of the action, or so many different criteria you can follow, but find it out, you can hone it down.
What were you going to go with that? You said both ways.
No, I'm saying that goes both ways. So like for me as a realtor, the buyer trusting the real estate agent that they've hired to work for them, and you, and saying, hey, real estate agents, you got to be smart and listen to your buyer and understand what they're actually looking for.
That's what that relationship stems from.
Yeah, that makes sense too.
It's one of their biggest purchases, investments in their entire life. So
now how many properties have you shown? What's your he said 11.
Yeah, 11's the most I've shown in one day.
My first 2 months in real estate, a client sent me 35 MLS numbers in 9 different oceanfront resorts, and I took the time to show them all in one day. My broker called me an idiot. So I learned
35.
So
did you drink a cocktail after that?
How do you even?
They didn't even buy.
Did you drink a cocktail after that?
It was kind of a
off season.
Marathon.
It had to have been off season.
Oh yeah, off season for sure. Yeah.
Did you have a cocktail after that day?
In between showings.
my top's 10. I've been in for 20 years.
Yeah, 35.
10 was the most I've ever shown.
I'm 11, and it was friends of one of my business partners, so it was a unique situation. And like I said, they were dream people because we didn't waste time. Like I showed 11, and I bet you it was in less than a 4-hour window.
I was gonna say in over a weekend.
Houses too.
Okay, so this was a 2-day stretch. So it was a weekend, 35. I was a tour guide.
Yeah,
I was not a real estate agent. I was a tour guide. They never bought.
So do you have a second career if you need it?
Yeah, I'm very good at that. I can tell you everything you need to know about the beach.
I've done 21 in a weekend, which is a 2-day weekend.
So I'm picturing Bill on the bus, like Vince Vaughn in the movie The Breakup.
Yeah.
Have you seen that? Like where he's the tour guide around Chicago, your hometown. Like I can picture Bill right now. He's going to be the next Myrtle Beach Vince Vaughn.
Land, air, and sea.
Now we need some bus systems, I guess.
Bill go around and tell some jokes.
In all seriousness, that is a great idea for these people that do want to come down and just look and they're not actual buyers.
Oh my gosh!
Like, we'll just do tours.
When they're packing their own food, ladies and gentlemen, it's a bad sign.
Could you imagine if we could have them on air? They might be joining a couple cocktails on the bus, like party bus.
We'll go
take them around.
Come out.
We may go in some units. We may go in some houses, but we're going to teach them about the beach on the
That's
tour.
where that $200 a day kicks in. Dude, you get a bus that's, hey.
We get a double-decker bus like in New York and Chicago.
Learn everything about Myrtle Beach in the next, in your 4-hour tour.
Yeah.
And then we require out-of-town buyers to do that prior to.
Yeah, if you're just looking, like, be honest.
If you're brand new,
you gotta hire
I'm
an
gonna help you
intern
out.
to actually give the speech. It's gonna treat.
No, they gotta be entertaining.
Yeah.
Like then you learn about Vince Vaughn. He's the talent.
Yeah.
Remember the brother wanted the logs in the movie. He wanted the logs, the tour logs. Vince he was like the talent. He's
Where is your time?
He's like they lined up for weeks to see me. Yeah. They don't care about the logs.
It's the psychology of the buyer. I think actually getting them into places and they're just not honest about. I'm not ready to buy right now. Yeah. So like if we could provide an avenue, a service for them to get into properties without feeling, open houses are kind of extended, but if we made it an experience where you actually get into properties,
that actually
learn about
really
the beach.
Cool.
That might actually.
If I knew I had like 20 buyers, I would actually figure that out.
Let's do that.
If we had 20 buyers coming to town, same weekend, needed to do it. In fact, if we have 20 people from Brokers and Booze that are out of town that want to come to Myrtle Beach and you're going to book the trip,
party bus.
the same weekend, we will arrange to be your tour guides, all three of us, if 20 of you will come. All you got to do is comment and let us know you're coming, and then we'll arrange it.
We'll bring the booze.
We'll bring the booze. Actually,
it'll be a resort.
It'll be a real estate and booze tour because we will actually match booze up for the tour. Like, oh my gosh, we may have a whole new business we're launching out of this episode.
Yeah, and we're going to real properties, see the properties.
Yep, we'll take
real
you to everything you can see in Myrtle Beach.
It's kind of how we started our companies, and
except for Chris, me and you.
Chris was 19, but Nick and I come up with our best ideas after imbibing a little. So
occasionally you throw back a couple cocktails, and man, we may have just been on to something right here.
It might be
Never
something.
know. We'll
All right,
see.
guys.
Our audience has to let us know.
Podcast may be over, and we start a new business.
If we're not back for the next episode, you got to come ride on our bus.
Myrtle Beach.
If you're looking to buy in the next 6 years, I'll give you a map.
I'll give you a map. All right. Cheers,
guys.
Keep drinking.
Stay classy.
Well, yeah.